All right, we're going to be doing a quick area review. As soon as we're done with this, you need to go complete the area review station in Canvas. I'm sorry, I ended up having to leave today, but carry on as normal, please. If you need help with that escape room, you can work together. You can send me messages, but for now, we are just reviewing area. So this is going to cover some of the basics from 6th and 7th. That we really need to be strong on for 8th grade. And we're just going to go through it pretty quick. Get your feet wet again. All right. So first things first, what we're going to try to accomplish is you need to be able to find the area of two-dimensional figures, because these are going to become the faces of your 3D shapes. Okay. And then how this is going to help us in 8th grade. So in order for us to do surface area in 8th grade, if I give you a prism, like this box of micanites, okay, you need to be able to identify things like the base shape, okay, and find the area of each individual piece, okay, so like, oh, these are rectangles and whatnot. Okay, so how to find the area of a basic 2D rectangle. First things first, when you get your base shape, whether it's a rectangle, triangle, or you're given a circle, like if we're doing a cylinder, you need to highlight the right angle to create the base and the height. Okay, so there's a difference between little b's and big B's. Sorry, my cat's trying to come over. Okay, that works on your rectangles. If you identify this right angle, okay, when you're finding the area of a rectangle, okay, you have your base and your height. They're the two sides that come off your right angle. Rectangles, there's a right angle in every corner, so any side could be used as that, okay? It looks a little different with triangles. That's the one that this is most helpful for. And then obviously with the circle, that does not apply, okay? So identify the shape and write the formula. A lot of y'all on your pre-assessment were just trying to look at it and figure it out. You have reference materials. There's one on the wall in the back corner by the window. There's one on the inside of your journal. We glued it in at the front of your journal, okay? If you go look at that reference chart, you need to find the formula for area of this is a rectangle, okay? And tell me what it says. Okay, by rectangle, across from it, it should say A equals BH. All right, so BH means base and height. All right, so you're going to multiply the little b base, the line side of your shape, times the height. Those come off of the right angle for a rectangle, okay? And then we're going to plug in the numbers into this formula. So I'm going to find the area by multiplying. They're touching, so we're multiplying. The base, this says our base is 5. We're going to multiply 5, and I'm going to put them in parentheses just to show they're multiplying. When you type them in your calculator, you could just do 5 times. Our height is 3. Okay, so like I said, when you solve, you're going to type 5 times 3 in your calculator, and your area equals 15. Okay? All right, if it's a rectangle or a square, you just do the base times the height. All right, I want you to go look down at the bottom, okay? Go ahead and solve this one by yourself, all right? Pick your formula, plug in the numbers, and then you're gonna go ahead and solve. Remember, this is a rectangle. Go find that on your reference chart, and it says area equals base times height. All right, plug in your numbers and go ahead and solve. All right, you should have gotten area equals. You can pick any of these right angles. The sides that come off of it, we have a 7 and a 10. Okay, so I'm going to use my 10 for my base and 7 for my vertical height. Okay, it always depends on which way you turn the shape. Okay, and we're going to talk about that more when we get into 3D figures. All right, so when you solve it, you should have done 10 times 7, and the area should have equaled 70. All right, moving on. All right, triangles. More of y'all were tripped up by triangles than rectangles. And I want to talk really, really quick on how a rectangle, if you fold it in half, you create a triangle, okay? So let's look at what that has to do with their formulas. So this is a triangle, okay? Go find the formula on the reference sheet in your journal and tell me what it says. Okay, it should say A equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, remember when things are touching and there's no operation sign between them, you are multiplying. Okay, so when we plug it in, we're going to keep it A equals 1/2. All right, this is where we look for that right angle to find the base and the height of our triangle. Okay, we just need B and H. Okay, so here's my right angle. So my right angle is on this line and it's on this line. Okay, for my area, I need base and height. These two numbers don't matter this time. Okay, it's always the numbers that are off of your right angle. Okay, if it says area equals, base and height, you need two numbers. There's 4 up here. These are the 2 you'll need. All right, they come off of your right angle. All right, so we're going to plug it in. My base, it says B is 4.2, and my height says 2.5. Okay, remember when they're touching, we multiply. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in our calculator. We are going to do parentheses for our fraction to keep it together. We're going to do our fraction. 1/2 is the same as 1 divided by 2. And then we're going to multiply that by 4.2 and by 2.5. Okay, so that's how you would type it in. We're just going to multiply all 3. So to include our fraction, you're going to put it in parentheses, 1 divided by 2. Let me get my calculator. All right, apologies. I actually don't have a calculator. I didn't bring one home when I left. Sorry. When you type it in, okay, 1/2, 1 divided by 2, times 4.2 times 2.5, okay? You can do it in chunks if you want. I would just do it a couple times. Make sure you're getting the same answer if you choose to do it different. All right? This whole thing should equal 5 25/100ths, okay? I want you to go ahead and try to type this in and make sure this is what you're getting, okay? Make sure you know how to type it in, because when you go practice it, even if you know what to do, if you're not typing it in right, it doesn't matter, okay? So type this in, see if you get the same thing, know that you're doing it right, and then you're going to go down and practice the one at the bottom. I want you to find the area of this triangle. Remember, you find the area by doing 1/2 times base times height. Okay, because half of a rectangle is a triangle, so we're going to do the same thing and then cut it in half. So 1/2 base times height. You decide which is which. Go ahead and solve. See what you get. Okay. When you plugged it in, you should have gotten the area would equal 1/2. Okay, here's where the right angles would be. Okay, so this would be one side you use, and this would be the height you use. So you'll do 5.4 and 7.1. Okay, so these are the 3 numbers you multiply. You're going to do 1/2 times 5.4 times 7.1. Okay, when you type that in, remember 1/2 is the same as 1 divided by 2. And then we're going to multiply it by 5.4 and multiply that by 7.1. Okay, when you do that, you should have gotten 19 and 17/100ths. Okay, all right. If that's not what you're getting, go back and type it in, play around with that a little bit, figure out what's a little off. All right, last, when we do the area of a circle, okay? These are important also. These are the 3 main shapes that we're going to be working with when we do our 3D faces, okay? So, area of a circle, go find the formula on your reference chart for the area of a circle. Okay, you should have found that it says area equals pi r squared. All right, so what does r mean? All right, r is the radius, of your circle. Okay, radius is the length it takes to get from one side of the circle to the middle, okay? So that is your radius. If they give you all the way, this is saying from one side to the other is 10. So how do you figure out from one side to the middle? Oh, sorry, my cat just, Sadie, go away. Okay, from one side to the middle, how do you figure out what half of that distance is? Okay, your radius is half of, this is called your diameter, okay? Sadie, go away, please. Thank you. Diameter is when you have all the way across your circle, okay? So radius is half of your diameter. You're just going to cut that number in half. Okay, so to plug it in, we're going to do area equals. Remember, it said the whole thing was 10. We're going to type pi. You have a pi button on your calculator times your radius. Remember, radius is the half distance from the outside to the middle. So the radius would have been 5 and then squared. So you're going to type in your calculator the pi button times 5 squared. There's also a squared button, so you're going to type pi times the number 5, and then you're going to hit that little x squared button. I'm just going to draw it over here. It looks like this, x squared. It's on the left. It's the same one you do for square roots when you hit blue. Okay, and you're going to make that 5 squared. And when you hit enter, it should say that your area equals this really, really long decimal of a number. Okay. For today, I just want you to round them all to the tenths. That's just one place after the decimal. Okay. So you should have gotten 78 point, and then it says like 5398, yada, yada, yada. Okay. We have 53. That 3 is going to say it's closer to 0.5 than going up. So we're going to leave it at 78.5. Oh, unit is centimeters. Sorry. I'm in a rush. I forgot to add our units today. Okay. Centimeters squared. I apologize. I'm all over the place. When you do area, it's always units squared. Okay. So the area was 78.5 centimeters squared. Okay. When you do your circles, you'll almost always end up with a really long decimal for your area because you're working with pi, which is itself a never-ending decimal. And that's okay. Don't be intimidated. All right. I want you to try the bottom one. Okay, this time it gives you the half distance. Remember, that is the radius. Okay, all the way across is your diameter. This time they've given you the radius. So, area of a circle equals your pi button times the radius squared. Okay, go ahead and plug it in and see what you get. All right, you should have plugged in area equals pi. Radius is 11 squared. Remember, we don't have to cut it in half. We already have the radius, which is half from the outside to the middle, okay? So pi times 11, little squared button. That should have gotten you, what did you get? Okay. So at the bottom, you should have gotten 380 and 1/10 when you round it to the nearest tenth centimeters squared for this circle. Okay, if you're having issues typing it in, you're not getting the same numbers I am, you need to ask your neighbor, ask whoever's with you today, send me a Canvas message, something, okay, because we need to figure out what buttons. If you can do this part, find your formula, plug in the numbers you're given, okay, then all you have to worry about is how to type that in your calculator. That's half the battle. All right. Hopefully y'all are feeling pretty good. Okay. Go ahead and go to station number 1 in Canvas and complete the area review. There's a few examples of each. Use your notes and your reference chart to help you.